What's up, guys? Bull by the Fell-Handed here, bringing you the Art of the Type 59 Part 3. We are on South Coast Encounter Battle. Now, I do have a side-scraping video at the end of this. Please make sure to stick around for that. Now, normally, if I was in a traditional medium, I would go right instead of left. I would go away from the primary points of contention. The reason for this, I like flanking tanks. That's traditionally what mediums do. The answer to why I am running towards the cab is kind of twofold. One, I'm used to running fast mediums, so I feel sometimes that I miss out on shots because I'm not in a given location at a given time. My battles in quick tanks normally have a certain cadence. This tank, however, it's quick, but it's not super quick, I guess is what I'm saying. The second part is, this thing, once you get it hull down, is extremely effective. It is the T-62A of the Tier 8 world. So I need to get in here. I need to get to battle very quickly. And once I get stuck in, then I can start to be effective. So in other words, I don't want my speed to be a liability. I know it appears that the tank is fast, but it feels slow and sluggish to me because I tend to, go for the Leo and the Batchat and the STB. Moving on. Someone asked me why this tank is so successful at Tier 8. Well, the reason behind that is the armor at this stage in the game overmatches the guns. You can pull bounces out of almost anything. The guns are good, but they're not fantastic. At Tier 10, they start to get fantastic. Or excuse me, at Tier 10, they've started and they are fully into being fantastic. You've got your, let's take 268 for example. You load a heat round into that, and you've got 450 millimeters on average of penetration. An average tank destroyer has 299 millimeters of penetration. Your average mediums have 250, 260. I mean, the E100 is the lowest of the bunch, and he has 235 millimeters penetration. All these are incredibly amazing. And I've seen guys, run the E100, the IS-4, IS-7, what have you, and block no damage. And that's because the guns are overmatching the armor. And Tier 8, we are in the land of the armor being a little bit better than the guns. How many times have you bounced off of someone in a Tier 8 match if you're running a Tier 8 tank? Well, it happens from time to time. And you can even bounce, I would say, reliably. As a matter of fact, there probably hasn't been a game in this tank where I haven't bounced at least something. You're not going to find that in a Tier 10 lobby. You're just not going to do it. And that's my answer. Tier 8, and it doesn't hurt the fact that you also have preferential matchmaking in this tank. Because when you take a step back and look at it, this tank is essentially a motherland. If you think about it, it's got very good armor, turret, and you'll catch some bounces off the front and you can side scrape with it. It's slow for medium, or let's say it has slow acceleration. I guess the top speed would be average. And the gun is okay. So you put all those things together, you have essentially got a motherland. Now, of course, the motherland also does not have preferential matchmaking. This, however, does. And that's what makes this tank so impressive, because if you give this tank a +1, it can really do damage. Now, I understand this game. I haven't really talked much about the game, but I try to answer all of my fans' questions that I can, and of course my own personal point of view. Moving on. So right now, it's essentially just mop-up duty. I know I have fumbled a number of shots this game, and it's sad, but sometimes you're just not going to connect with everything you need to get in there. And, you know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, once you just go through and you realize your mistakes, just focus up and attempt to not make them again. And that's called life. You know, we all think it would be fantastic if we could just go through and hit every single shot and never miss any opportunity. And perhaps, you know, one day we will all be there. But today that definitely wasn't me, because I missed all kind of shots, and I fumbled a lot of things. And that's fine though, because it's a learning experience. At the same time, we still did fairly well. We did okay. You know, this tank, it's not very difficult to put up 2,500 damage. 25, 65, 695 blocked. And now we go to the side scrape tutorial. This is on El Haluf. I am in a excellent hold down position right here. As you can see, I can't even see an enemy, and I bounced around. I'm trying to figure out where the enemies are and exactly where I need to get my hull. If you angle your hull at a 70 degree, 70 for standard rounds, 80 for heat, it should auto bounce, unless of course the tank overmatches your armor. Now in this position you'll see I am loading nothing but APCR, because I'm here and I'm trying to do damage. The sad part is, you will see me, on a side note here, you will see me shoot at this conqueror all game long, and I literally have no idea where to pin him, because I have never had problems with conquerors. So, of course, I'm all set now. I've plugged it into Armor Inspector and looked it up on WoT Guru. I'm fine now, but at the time, I was like, why can't I pin this guy? Anyway, moving on. When you're side scraping, guys, you want this exact view that I'm having right here. You want your tank just cocked ever so slightly. You want to pull out. You want to, you know, ideally, and see, here's the thing. Ideally, you're not going to have, or not necessarily ideally, most of the time, you're not going to have that little rock jutting out over there to the right. If you'll look directly in front of my hull, there's a little bit of a rock there. The idea here is that when you angle up like this, the reds can't get a shot at the front of your armor, at the front of your lower plate. That's why you kind of have to cock your tank a little bit. Well, that, and so you can pull out and fire. And, you know, the reason I kind of stopped pulling out there for a second is just to make the reds think that, you know, they didn't know when I was going to pull out. And as you can see, I'm making micro movements. I've got my hull angled. You know, I'm hull down. I'm in an excellent spot to cause trouble. I don't do an incredible amount of damage in this location. I think I get 6 or 7 pins tops. And the reason for this is, one, I had no idea where to hit the conqueror. And I'm also kind of fighting Tier 9 heavies hull down, which is a difficult situation to be in when you're in this tank. We're working on it, we're trying our best, but we're not really making a lot of headway. What is important is I was vital in being area denial. They couldn't come through here because they've got a 5.9 side scraping. And so that's kind of what you have. You're not necessarily doing supremely well on damage, but you are keeping them from going against the rest of the team. Now, this, of course, is completely situational, because if someone pulls out further to my right, they're going to be able to get shots on me rather easily. So, you know, like everything else in this game, it's it's very situational. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the Art of the Type 59 Part 3. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time.